Now, like a lot of us in the creative economy, I love my Apple and Mac products. I just feel like for whatever reason, they're just tailor-made for people that think like this, and I just love the ergonomics of a good Macintosh computer. Now, that being said, I was recently came across something that really just kind of blew me away and really disappointed me in Apple as a whole. And I always thought Apple was supposed to be environmentally conscious, and I can't begin to wrap my head around why an environmentally conscious company would make a decision like this. And what I'm talking about is the Apple's complete lockdown and bricking of their slightly older iMac beautiful 5K Retina monitors. Oh, hey, and do me one favor. If you find this video interesting in any way, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It's really hard keeping a YouTube channel up and running these days, and your subscriptions are the absolute thing that keeps this thing going. Now, I myself have a beautiful 5K 27-inch Retina display iMac. And, it's getting a little old in the tooth. It's about 7 years old now, and the monitor is still in perfect shape, but the hardware after 7 years is now starting to reach the end of its life, let's be honest. And, so it put me at a point where I started researching turning my old iMac into a monitor. I mean, it's 5K, it's a Retina display, it's still absolutely beautiful. And I figured I could take that with a new iMac Studio, and what I found is it's not even an option. Apple just completely has locked down the whole ecosystem, and they would rather you take those old, beautiful, still functioning, perfectly good monitors and either throw them in a landfill and just get rid of them rather than repurpose them and let them continue the lifespan. And I just personally, I can't believe that Apple is being so environmentally unconscionable by refusing to allow us to repurpose old iMacs as monitors. I just can't understand the reasoning behind this. And there's a really important reason behind this, because you have to understand that the system that Apple has created from the ground up. Now, most of our computing systems really only give us about 5 to 8 years of good life, maybe 9 on the outside, before we have to really replace them via hardware or software limitations, whatever reason. However, LCD technology in your screens has a much longer usable life. We're talking about anywhere from the range of 10 to 20 years. I mean, LCD technology is great. You should be able to use it for a really long time, much longer than you could ever use a computer. And the iMac is actually a really interesting piece of technology because it combines the computer and the monitor all in one system, as you all know. So this means that by its very design, the iMac comes built in with 2 different lifespans. And you would think a company that cared about the environment would come in and basically take this in consideration and give us a way to maximize the lifespan of the product. So what this would mean is it would allow us to take and repurpose a lot of older computers and taking advantage of their still very good and effective technology versus clogging landfills with it. So you can see as an Apple user why this is something that I think we really need to raise our voices about and try and ask for some kind of solution to this from Apple. Because Apple has a history of actually letting us do this in the past. Apple actually had something called the target display mode. And it actually worked. It did exactly this. It lets you take an old iMac and hook up to a newer computer. But here's the thing with target display mode. It's got some very specific caveats to it. For some reason, Apple stopped supporting this on future models. So for instance, if you have a 27-inch iMac that was made between 2009 and 2010, and it happens to be running OS Sierra earlier, with the caveat that the machine running this has to be on a computer that's 2019 or older and is maxing out on OS Catalina. Now, what's frustrating about this is none of this, even if you maybe had an old iMac, it doesn't address these 5K Retina iMacs that a lot of us out there have that we'd like to repurpose and not just have to throw away, fill up a landfill. I know Apple does recycling things, but maybe I want to have that computer and just don't want to throw it away as well. It just seems like such a waste of beautiful technology. So I think it's really obvious right now that it's just crystal clear that Apple does not want people taking advantage of these beautiful, practical, and still very functional 5K monitors. Now, I will say there is technically one workaround where you can use AirPlay to cast from a new Mac to an older 5K Retina display. But that's not really a realistic solution because that AirPlay tops out, first of all, it taps off at a 1920 by 1080 resolution. And also, the AirPlay connection really has some serious lag, which is fine if you're just casting a thing, but it can be very frustrating if you're actually actively using it to edit videos or photos or do any kind of real work that you'd want on a high-end monitor like this. So that basically means that even though you can technically cast an AirPlay, it's not a way to actually let us utilize any of the full aspects that you want on a 5K Retina display in the first place. Now, am I the only one here that finds this extremely frustrating? I mean, I understand that Apple wants to continue to make a profit, and they don't want you basically repurposing. They want you buying these new $1,500 monitors that come out so they can keep making a profit. And you know, I get it. It's a business. It's America, whatever. I would personally be okay even if Apple had something like a $500 app you could buy that was designed to convert your old 5K Retina iMac into a secondary monitor for new Apple computers. I think most of us out there will be willing to pay some money to have that so Apple can still make a profit. Hey, they can double charge you for stuff, right? Still keep that revenue stream coming, but allow a lot of computers to stay out of the trash. So I just wanted to kind of share this with you and hopefully see if anybody else is experiencing this frustration. And maybe if we raise our voice enough, maybe someone from Apple will actually listen and give us an actual viable workaround to keep using those beautiful, fully functional 5K Retina 27 iMacs. Anyway, guys, love to hear what you have to say with this. Leave any notes and comments down below. Yeah, go out there, keep on shooting, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon.